For the month of May, we're aiming for 20,000 subscribers, and we're having a giveaway as well at 20,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button, like button, turn on the channel notifications, and also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Last but not least, if you would like to become a member of the channel, you can do so by pressing that join button next to that red subscribe button or the link inside the description. Let's talk about how to improve as a hitter, and regardless of what game mode you play, I find it essential to always warm up in custom practice. In custom practice, I usually like using two teams, but you can use any of the legend teams that you want to. I like using the long ball beasts when it comes to getting pitched to, and then when it comes to hitting with, I like using the expansion era boomers, because the expansion era boomers, they have the best hitters in terms of variety when it comes to righty, lefty, lefty, righty in the lineup, instead of just having a bunch of righties or a bunch of lefties to hit. I like using Tropicana because it has a dome and it has a good batter's eye. Other stadiums, even if you press nighttime, the sun is still out, and it just makes it a lot more difficult for you to see the ball. Now, before we even jump into the custom practice, you're going to go down to options. If you're a new player that struggles hitting on rookie or veteran, you're going to set it on all-star, because all-star is the base level difficulty for all online game modes. And then if you're more experienced or you got the hang of hitting on all-star, you're going to jump straight into legend difficulty. We're going to be using legend difficulty for the purposes of this video. And then after you get that down, you're going to go to practice type, and you're always going to use team practice. Why? Because it has an actual count and actual defenders out there, and this is a legend team, so this is going to be some of the best defenders in the game playing at each and every single position. So if you want to make sure you get yourself good at bats and are squaring up the ball and hitting gaps, this is the best team to hit against, in my personal opinion. Now, when it comes to PCI settings, you guys see that I'm not using the 3 circles as I normally use, and that is because on legend difficulty, I don't feel comfortable just using 3 circles because the 3 circles are so small. Now, on rookie difficulty, you might not feel comfortable using 3 circles either, and you could change your PCI settings to what I currently have, which is circle, center, and then wedge, inner. But you could be playing all-star, and it's going to shrink as you increase difficulty and feel like, hey, it's getting a little bit too small on me. I want to go ahead and get a bigger PCI. So you switch it to outer, basic, and look, we're still hitting on legend difficulty, but look how big the PCI is. And this could give a lot of hitters a lot more confidence when it comes to hitting, and it allows them to see the ball a whole lot better as well. So what I would suggest is, as a hitter, you find out which settings you feel most comfortable with. If you want, you can take 2 minutes with different varieties of PCI settings until you find whichever one is the one that suits you best. That's what we're talking about in terms of PCI settings. Now, when it comes to PCI placements, a lot of people have the issue of pitch comes, they drop the PCI. Another issue is pitch comes, they flick up as fast as possible as well. Something that can help that, depending on what the habit is, if you always drop your PCI, instead of leaving it right in the middle, you can just start it low. That way you're forced to go up if the pitch is going up, and you won't feel forced in a way to just leave that PCI or drag it down, considering your finger is already pushing it down. It's almost like reverse psychology. You're going to force yourself to actually move it up. And the same thing goes if you always start it high. Instead of always flicking up, if you're already starting it high just a little bit, if it's slow, you're going to start forcing yourself to actually move to wherever the ball is actually going. For example, back when I started playing MLB The Show, my habit was always going up. So in order to fix that, I started the PCI a little bit higher, and then I moved it to wherever the pitch was. Even as you're taking pitches, you want to always be tracking it with the PCI, because that allows you to just place the PCI on the ball a whole lot better. Now, once you've mastered not going up anymore or not dropping it down anymore, you could do the same thing that I do, which is just leave it right in the middle, and then I just flick it to wherever I'm predicting the pitch is going to land. That is also a very good method, or one of the best places to actually leave your PCI. But if you've been hitting really well with it low or with it high, then just stay with it because it's working for you. Now, when it comes to the 2-strike approach, we also want to discuss that. So until I have 2 strikes, I'm only swinging at pitches inside my wheelhouse, meaning where I think I could crush it. Righty on righty, it's anything in the middle, whether it's inside, outside, right down the pipe. It's also pitches down low, whether it's down and out, down the middle, or down and inside. I'm always looking to crush. Anything high and inside, I'm going to take until I have 2 strikes because that is my weak spot. Anything high and down the middle, I'm going to swing away. Anything high and outside, I'm going to swing away. You have to realize, or you have to know yourself as a hitter, know what your weak spot is, and with 2 strikes, before you get 2 strikes, you have 3 chances to swing. So until 2 strikes, only swing at a pitch if it is inside your wheelhouse. If it's in one of your weak spots, then you go ahead and just eat it. Take that strike. Once you have 2 strikes, then you go ahead and protect the strike zone. As you can see, Mike Schmidt was the last hitter. It reset back to Ricky Henderson since Mike Schmidt was the last hitter. We want to go back to Willie because that would be who would be hitting next. So that's the 2-strike approach. You're going to not swing unless it's inside your wheelhouse. When it's righty on lefty, my wheelhouse is high and inside, middle, outside, inside, and down the pipe. And then my 2 weaknesses are high and outside, and then low and outside. So if it's a pitch right here or a pitch right here, I'm most likely not swinging at. If it's a pitch low down the middle, I'm swinging at. Low and inside, I'm swinging at as well. And then when I have 2 strikes, that's when I will begin to protect the strike zone as best as I possibly could. Now when it comes to pitch recognition, a lot of people, they fail to do this. But what a lot of good hitters do is either A, they pause it whenever a new pitcher comes in and they see the repertoire or the arsenal. Now when you play online, it's going to be on the left, not on the right. But they see something along the lines of, okay, Pedro has a 4-seam that's going to be straight at me. Circle change is going to drop. Slider is going to move towards me when I have a lefty hitting, and then away from me when I have a righty hitting. Sinker, it's going to move towards me when I have a righty hitting, away from me when I have a lefty hitting, and then curveball is going to drop. You get to see at which speeds he throws those pitches at, and then that's going to help you in terms of timing and also in terms of predicting where the pitch is going to land, depending on what you're predicting he's throwing at that exact moment. That's how you get better at pitch recognition in general, and the same thing goes for when it's a lefty pitching. So let's take Pedro out and let's put Tom Glavine, for example. He's going to have 4-seam, changeup, curveball, cutter, slider. Now, I wouldn't suggest going and holding down R2 after each and every single pitch or in each and every single at-bat, especially if it's the same pitcher, because it's frowned upon since it doesn't allow the opponent to pitch until you let go of R2 or until you've held R2 till the time limit has prevented you from holding R2, and that could really mess up the timing of some of the pitchers. So yes, you would be benefiting yourself, but it's like an unwritten rule, something that you don't want to do. It makes the game a whole lot harder, and your opponent is going to hate you and probably send you a hate message as well. So that's what we're talking about when it's pitch recognition, when it's 2-strike approach, PCI placement, PCI settings, gameplay difficulty. Now I'm sure you guys want me to hit myself, so we're going to go to team practice. We're going to put Pedro Martinez, and we're going to take some hacks with Ricky Henderson to lead it off. And I'm going to be using the largest PCI setting possible, just so you all can see that the PCI setting, it's going to help you out a lot. Now, I thought that 4-seam was going to be inside my wheelhouse. That's the only reason why I was swinging right there. Now that I know that Pedro is pitching, I know it's 2 pitches that drop in the circle change and the curveball. One of the fastballs moves towards me, and then the slider moves away from me. That was a fastball. I knew it was coming straight. I was still late in terms of timing. Now it's 2 strikes. I got to protect the strike zone, and that's the approach we have to take. Boom. That's not a home run because Ricky Henderson has no pop in that bat, but if it wasn't Ricky Henderson hitting, that would have been absolutely crushed against Pedro. Now we're going to have a lefty up to hit, and we know the same thing. The 2 off speeds, they will drop. Fastball will come straight at us. Slider will move towards us, and then the sinker would move away from us. So what do? That was a fastball inside our wheelhouse, but we weren't expecting a fastball. We weren't ready for a fastball. We didn't pick up that it was a fastball. So why swing and get jammed? I'd rather just eat the strike right there. Next pitch. there I was seeing more fastball, but I didn't flick it up fast enough. So unfortunately, we have 2 strikes and we're in defensive mode. We're trying to protect at all costs, and we're trying to follow the ball with the PCI at all costs as well, regardless of whether we are going to swing or not, because getting into the habit of doing that is going to 100% improve your pitching. We got a circle change. We read that it was a circle change. We saw that it was dropping. We predicted the drop a little bit too much. That's why we're extremely underneath it. But if we would have predicted it correctly, we would have been able to crush it 100%. Circle change. Didn't pick it up right there. Checked our swing. But I thought it was going to be in a wheelhouse nonetheless. But you're going to want to do this, like I said, for 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is ideal. And after you do it for 7 minutes and 30 seconds, make sure you switch to having a lefty out there to pitch, so you don't just hit righty on righty or righty on lefty. So you also get the opportunity of hitting lefty on lefty and lefty on righty. That way you improve both sides at once. It's not just one-sided in terms of baseball. You have to improve on hitting both sides at once. And you might struggle to begin with, just like I'm struggling right now with Ken Griffey Jr. I didn't even check the repertoire of Tom Glavine. That's the reason why I would say my struggles are more increasingly. So change up curveball slider. I know that the slider, since it's a lefty pitcher, is going to move away. The cutter is also going to move away. And the changeup and the curveball are going to drop. So that right there, fastball, we're protecting. So anything inside the strike zone, we're looking to just foul off. And in general, this is just what you want to do. That curveball caught me. I thought I sat back enough, but I sat back just a little bit too much. In general, this is going to help you improve as a hitter. 15 minutes working on PCI placement, 2-strike approach, and pitch recognition is going to help you out tremendously when it comes to improving yourself as a player. So make sure you go ahead and do that. If you did end up enjoying today's content, like, subscribe, notifications, follow me, and then if you would like to become a member, join the channel membership. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out.